Hello everyone. In our last session, we tried basic mathematical operations on complex numbers. So in this session, we proceed further and we go for reciprocal and conjugate of a complex number. Now understand one thing, reciprocal is something what we all already know, but conjugate is a new term. So first let me take reciprocal, which is actually nothing but extension of division. So if I have z equal to a plus ib and I take that as obviously non-zero complex number, why? Because I have to go for reciprocal means I will have to go for 1 upon z, and that 1 upon z is nothing but multiplicative inverse. That is the term or name used. And since z appears in the denominator, so our obviously condition is z cannot be 0. And what is the procedure? Procedure to get 1 upon z is, which is 1 upon a plus ib. Recall what we have done in division. We will have to multiply and divide by a minus ib. And then denominator will become simply a square plus b square and numerator is a minus ib. So a upon a square plus b square would be real part and minus times b upon a square plus b square would be nothing but imaginary part. So let us take one quick example. If I take z as 3 plus 4i, then 1 upon z if I have to find, then it would be nothing but, I will write it as first 1 upon 3 plus 4i, multiply and divide by 3 minus 4i, and answer would be nothing but 3 minus 4i upon 25. So if you wish, you can write again separately 3 upon 25 minus 4 upon 25 times I. Now again, my answer is nothing but a complex number as we have seen in case of division. Now let us proceed to what we mean by conjugate of a complex number. Now if z, which is a plus ib, a complex number, then z bar, which is the notation for conjugate, is written as a minus ib. So if z is a plus ib, then corresponding conjugate of that complex number is a minus ib. Now if I have to write one example, I take suppose z equal to 7 plus 3i, then corresponding z bar would be 7 minus 3i. Now some of you may think that imaginary part is positive, then we write corresponding imaginary part for conjugate as negative. That is actually not the case. If you have z as 7 minus 3i, then corresponding z bar would be 7 plus 3i. Why I am mentioning this? Many students take conjugate means that I will write minus there in imaginary part. Actually, that is not the case. How you have to remember is replace I by minus I whenever you have to take conjugate. Now, since this is a new term, so let us take further few properties of conjugate of a complex number. Now, what comes to your mind? First thing, simplest, that is z bar's bar means conjugate of a number. So, if you are taking twice conjugate, one after other, that nullifies each other and hence answer is nothing but z. Can you understand what I am saying? What if z is a plus ib, then what would be z bar, which is written inside bracket? It would be a minus ib. And now if you take again further conjugate of it, again it will go back to a plus ib only. So answer is nothing but z. So let us take next one. And the next one is z plus z bar. And answer is twice of real part of z. Why is it so? Suppose z is a plus ib. What would be z bar? It would be a minus ib. Add them together, you will get 2a and 2a. A means real part of z. So z plus z bar equal to twice real part of z. Now third is z minus z bar, which was expected in the cube, right? It is nothing but 2i times imaginary part of z. You can work out yourself and check it is right or not. It is. Next is z equal to z bar leads to z is real. And I have written there equivalent notation. Recall, we have used this notation in set theory. So z equal to z bar, if that happens, that means a plus ib equal to a minus ib kind of thing is given to you. And that will lead to nothing but b equal to 0. Means imaginary part is 0. And if imaginary part is 0, corresponding z with which you started, it has to be a real number. And result goes in the other direction also. Means if z is real, then z equal to z bar. That is the result. Now next is, if z is not 0, and if z plus z bar is 0, then what? Answer is z is purely imaginary. And again, result is in both the direction. That means if z is purely imaginary, then z plus z bar is also 0. Now, will you work out yourself? Start with z equal to a plus ib. Write z bar as a minus ib, add them together and see what happens. You get answer z as purely imaginary, means real part must be nothing but 0. Now I move further, and next one is conjugate of sum of two complex numbers, and as expected answer is it is sum of the respective conjugates. Now if you wish, you can actually write z1 as a plus ib, z2 as c plus id, substitute in the left hand side in place of z1 plus z2, take conjugate, and this would lead to nothing but z1 bar plus z2 bar. Similarly, I go to next, and it is z1 minus z2 whole bar, means conjugate of difference of two complex numbers. And again, as I said before also, as expected, we get that as difference of the respective conjugates. Now I go for the product thing, and product one is z1 z2 whole bar, means conjugate of the product, and answer as expected again is nothing but product of the respective conjugates. Now can we generalize this result? Yes, we can. And that next generalized result is z1 z2 z3, such product if you have, and if you are taking conjugate, then respective answer would be nothing but product of the respective conjugates. Now are we not expecting now in the Q? Next, it has to be conjugate of z1 upon z2. Yes, true. Now conjugate of z1 upon z2 is z1 bar upon z2 bar, provided quantity written in the denominator is not 0. That means if z2 is not 0, then only result is true. Now let us proceed from here further and go to square roots of a complex number, which is something again new. See, what we are trying to do is whatever operations we have done in case of real numbers, we are trying to use them on complex number, and what we are trying to do is we check whether our outcome again is a complex number or not. If it is not, then we will say so and so operation is not applicable in case of complex numbers. So let us try now for square roots. Now if I have to find square root of a complex number, say complex number which is given to me is a plus ib, and I have to find its square root. So I start with let x plus iy be square root of a plus ib. Then how do I proceed from here? So obviously x plus iy is square root of a plus ib. I am free to square on both sides, and I will get on squaring and on simplifying, I will get x square minus y square plus 2xyi equal to a plus ib. Now you are equating two complex numbers. Just now we have done some time back. What was it? When you equate two complex numbers, remember in the last session we have done that real part must be equal to real part and imaginary part must be equated to imaginary part. And hence by equating imaginary and real parts respectively, I get x square minus y square equal to a, and I get 2xy equal to b. Now I have two equations. Our job is to get x and y. So we have two equations in x and y. So it is very much, I'm in a situation where you can find x and y. Only thing is you should do it tactfully, like little intelligently. The thing is, if you try to write y equal to b upon 2x and substitute in the previous equation, it would be a mess. Now do it intelligently when I say it. Recall whatever formula you have done in your previous classes. We have done a formula a minus b whole square plus something, remember, equal to a plus b whole square. What is that something? Recall, right? So what we try to do here is we go for x square plus y square whole square and try to write in terms of x square minus y square and 2xy. That 2xy whole square is nothing but 4x square y square, which I have shown here. Now that means from here, using these two equations, I can always find x square plus y square. So x square plus y square whole square turns out to be nothing but a square plus b square, and this would lead to x square plus y square equal to square root of a square plus b square, correct? And now realize this, square root of a square plus b square, I have not written with plus minus sign. Why? Because quantity written on the left hand side here is x square plus y square, which is surely a non-negative quantity. So I need not write minus under root a square plus b square. So only one sign will appear there, and hence x square plus y square I am getting as under root a square plus b square. Now I have x square minus y square equal to a in my first equation, and now I am getting a new equation, the third one, as x square plus y square equal to under root a square plus b square. Now using these two equations, you can get x square and y square. How do we do that? By adding, you will get 2x square, and by subtracting, you may get 2y square. So from there, solving equation 1 and 3, I get x square, and then I also get correspondingly y square. Now I will have to go for x and y. My job is to get x and y, not x square and y square. So obviously we will take now square root also. The moment you write square root, x comes out with plus minus something, y also comes as plus minus something, and that big expression inside square root I am writing in both the places. So obviously your answer x plus iy actually will be in 4 places. Once with plus and plus sign, this combination, plus and minus, minus and plus, minus and minus. So these 4 outcomes actually you are going to get for square roots. Now, if you use little intelligence, you can further simplify the situation. And the situation is equation 2 tells you that b equal to 2xy. So if b is positive, then x and y will have to have same sign. And if b is negative, then x and y will be of opposite signs. And then you can write correspondingly what would be square root of a plus ib with b positive, and you also can write for b negative for square root of a minus ib as your answer. Now mind you, please, it looks complicated because a, b, etc. we are writing, but when you actually start solving problems, those a, b, etc. would be replaced by numbers. So it will not be at all any complicated situation. Only thing is, never try to solve equation 1 and 2 by your usual methods what you have learnt in 10th standard. Please try to go for the third equation as x square plus y square. That is the only thing on which I wanted to emphasize. So I have taken this particular thing separately. Otherwise, you could have directly perhaps started with the questions for finding square roots of a complex number. Now, this is all about what we do in this session. When I come in the next session, I will again come with something new. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you have liked the video, please click here to subscribe. And if you wish to buy the book, you will have to click on this side. Thank you.